Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 19 Deadline stream in partnership with FPL Team, and it's live. It is 5:02 p.m. UK time on Tuesday, December the 30th. We are 58 minutes away from the Gameweek 19 deadline, and as per usual, I'll be answering as many or FPL dilemmas as I can between now and the 6 p.m. UK time deadline for the final time in 2025. Before I answer your questions, many of those cues may well be answered by the graphics on stream. Let me take you through them. I made 2 free transfers on Saturday night, buying Omar Alderete, third sub. That was to enable Matthias Cunha. He's in as vice captain. I have sold Pierre Hincapi, who I do think starts for Arsenal today, and Keenan Dewsbury Hall. 0.7 million in the bank. Idea is Virgil van Dijk to Gabriel for game week 20. However, that may need to change subject to Declan Rice news. That's the big breaking news across the last hour and a half or so. He's picked up a knee injury and likely not to play for Arsenal tonight. Doesn't sound serious, but it might make Morgan Rogers an option for me. So too might a Bruno Guimaraes yellow card. Quite limited options at the moment. I understand those with Rice are probably thinking, what now? Well, in many occurrences, it's deal with your bench, and that's what I'll be doing this week. So the bus team for me is, I've left Rice in. Verbruggen in goal. Timber, I think, starts as well. Chow, Virgil van Dijk, Foden, Guimaraes, Rice, vice-captain Cunha, Igor Thiago, captain Erling Haaland, Hugo Ekitike. Assuming Rice doesn't play, first off the bench for me is Harry Wilson. If I have another problem, I've got Nico O'Reilly. I feel like I'm in decent cover this week. I realise that might not be the case for all of you. Bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see my predicted lineups for all 20 teams this game week. Update for the patrons who are watching the team news stream. I've now put Mikel Merino in the predicted Arsenal lineup. Top captaincy picks to the left-hand corner is Haaland over Cunha over Ekitike and then Saka for me. You also see my correct score predictions for all 10 games. Bottom tick has got all the flag players' next 5 game week fixtures for everyone. And above that and below me is the benching dilemmas, where there are 2 players together. The player with the tick is the preferred option to start. They run in order left to right. Pages 1 through to 4. You will find some cheaper goalkeepers on page 5. That's the announcements done. I want to wish you all a very happy new year. As always, whatever you decide to do in the next 55 minutes or so, please do play it your way. Good luck, everyone. CM Punk is first. There's rumours of Keane being a doubt. Yes, I've seen that, and Grealish as well. He is currently first bench ahead of Miley and Alderete. Rice in the 11 currently. Would you change the bench order? Ignore if on screen. No, just leave it be, I think, mate. Miley, Alderete. Yep, probably just about Lewis Miley over Alderete. Possibly. That's probably a close one. Alderete, every chance for DEFCON, although they don't always get picked up against Manchester City. But probably Miley, I would imagine he starts at right back. You could get a DEFCON out of him as per the game against Chelsea, particularly if Jadon Anthony does start, which I have got him in my predicted Burnley lineup. So, yeah, I'd probably leave B. The thing is with this Rice news, it's like anyone who's gone Declan Rice like I have, it's like he went in for long-term reasons, right? So I don't want to be rushed into a decision here. So I get it. Your bench isn't as strong. Yeah, I would probably leave that be. You can't be benching Michael Keane based on a rumour. He's either going to play or he isn't. He's not going to be, oh, come on in the 85th minute. I can't see that. He'll either play or he won't. Team news is really difficult this week, guys, because so many managers have not done press conferences and there have been embargoed quotes that were done after games at the weekend, which have then been filtered out and released through today. And then yesterday, it's not ideal. So there's a lot of guesswork, even particularly with my predicted lineups. There is a lot of guesswork there. Because I think particularly the teams playing tonight, we can expect some rotation as well. Nectarius says, start Hincapi or take a -4 to bring in Gabriel. Have Richards and Anderson on the bench. No, I'd play Hincapi. I mean, -4 from one Arsenal defender who probably plays to another Arsenal defender who probably plays. No, just leave her be. Your name is in foreign letters, so I can't read it. Sorry. VVD to Gabriel and Semenyo to Rogers this week or next, or O'Reilly to Gabriel and Semenyo to Cherky or Rodon. See you, gents. Sorry, I got builders in the office. Semenyo to Cherky or Rodon to Gabriel and Semenyo to Stack. Commit to 4 at the back. There's a lot going on here. It sounds like next week stuff to me, mate, to be honest. Grounder says, Happy New Year, James. Plan to sell Dewsbury Hall for Gordon. Have the exact cash to do so. But before I do, I'd like to hear your view on Gordon. Or is there a better alternative for 7.4 that you can suggest? I think most Newcastle assets are probably in a don't buy, don't sell zone. So like I've got Guimaraes and Chow. I think that's fine. Would I be going and chasing them at the moment if I didn't own? No, probably not. I think as long as you accept that Anthony Gordon is a punt and there is no guarantee that he plays, he probably plays 2 of the next 3, probably, I would guess. As long as you're happy with that, then fine. Those who went Anthony Gordon early this season would sit here and say, don't do that, mate. I wasn't one of them, so I don't mind it. They're top of my ticker comfortably over the next 4, but it's quite punty. This is a player who hasn't scored a Premier League goal other than from the penalty spot since January. John Villis says, Hi, James. Who do you think is more likely to start between Gabriel and Hincapi? Thanks for the great content as usual. I mean, Gabriel, but I think they probably both start by the sounds of things. I think the Arsenal back 4 will be Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapi. AT says, thoughts on Fofana. Rested versus Villa. I think he starts all games now up until UCL knockout stage should Chelsea finish below top 8. I mean, how you can think that he's going to start all games up until the Champions League knockout stage when they've got Carabao Cup semi-finals against Arsenal and two other Champions League games when he's just left him out for a game like Villa. For me, Fofana is in Chelsea's best 11. For whatever reason, he's decided to win Fofana today rather than Saturday. I'm certain that Wesley Fofana starts tonight, and I'm fairly certain he starts at Manchester City on Sunday. You don't want him for that. You want him for more for Fulham the Wednesday afterwards. Can't guarantee that, mate. Simon Baker says, James, I bought Damsgaard before his benching. Any chance you reckon he gets back in the 11? If not, worth a transfer. Just play pots and get extra transfer. Only have the 1 and 0.0 in the bank. I'm not even sure what price Damsgaard is, to be honest. I know Tom Med, our Brentford correspondent, would like him back in the team. I know that factually, but he's not picking the team, unfortunately. So, no, I've got Jensen probably starting again, actually. Alternatives in the price bracket, likes of Anton Stack shouldn't necessarily be overlooked. I think it's probably a move on, to be honest. Or you're just going to have this same problem just ongoing, I think. So I think it's probably a moving one. Stack's okay. You don't want to end up with 2 4.5-ish or so. Other cheaper midfield players, don't go to Everton. Don't do that. Minter short term, if you can get there, maybe. You probably can't. It might be Anton Stack. The one thing I can say about Anton Stack is he will play. Bertica says, Hey James, thoughts on Gordon minutes this week? Got him on free hit, but I'm wavering. Could go Cherky instead, but already have Foden and Haaland. I've got him down to start. But I'm 65-70% confidence in that. I wouldn't have him on a free hit personally. Stevie Boy says, Hi James, have 6.1 million from Mount replacement. Already own Anderson, that's Elliot. Tempted to roll the dice on Jacob Murphy minutes. Any standouts I'm missing on bench boost this week? Cheers. I mean, same thing. I've got Barnes predict to start over Murphy this week. I just think probably between those 3, Murphy, Barnes, Gordon, I think they probably all start 2 of the next 3. And I think this one might be Barnes and Gordon is what I've gone for. I don't love it, mate. I don't love it. 6.1. Mateus Fernandes, West Ham. Minter. You get Minter. Probably is back to that, isn't it? I probably prefer that. At least it's West Ham, Burnley, and maybe move on again. But yeah, there's a lot of shit in and around that value at the moment, unfortunately. I wouldn't chase after Harry Wilson at this stage. I think it's late on 5.8, but look, I suppose you could make the case with Wilson. There's good form now. You ain't getting a Sade. You're nowhere near it financially. You can't go Mount at the moment. All of a much of a muchness, mate. Honestly, it's awful down there in that price range at the moment. Frederick Hertz says, sat with 4 flags, considering Mount and Rice to Cunha and Miley from -4. Happy New Year. Is that a question or just a statement? I don't think Mason Mount plays. I don't think. So I can't argue against it. Just on Cunha alone, it's probably worth it. Aaron Hill says, Hi James, bench Semenyo or Mitoma or just bench Rice as he's missing out apparently. Thanks and all the best. Well, yeah, it's probably not going to matter, but yeah, I would play Semenyo over Mitoma. I'm pretty confident Semenyo plays. No guarantee Mitoma comes straight back in. Simon B says, Hi James, hope you had a great Christmas. Semenyo to Cunha from -4. Need to bench Rice now. You obviously can't go Rice to Cunha, that's obviously off the table. And I don't want to sell Declan Rice at this moment in time either. Semenyo to Cunha from -4. I'm going to say probably yes, justifiable on the basis that I don't think Semenyo will start whomever he's with in Gameweek 20 as it stands. There's got to be a strong possibility he doesn't play for Bournemouth against Arsenal. And there's definitely a strong possibility he wouldn't start for Manchester City against Chelsea straight away. So with the next 3 fixtures, I'm going to say yes. Yes. CM Punk says, wildcarded last week and have 3 free transfers. Would you rather be aggressive and tackle the injury doubts as and when they come, or is there an advantage to keeping them for doubles and blanks later on? Don't keep transfers for doubles and blanks at this moment, mate, because there ain't going to be a lot of it. Not like pre-March. Possibly Arsenal. That's probably it in terms of projections at this moment. So, I mean, you're not going to land at that period and have no Arsenal anyway, so I wouldn't be doing it for the sake of doubles at this moment. Spooky Sorcerer says, hi, James. On a free hit, have Raya as goalkeeper, get Milenkovic or Gabriel as third defender, or get both defenders, play 4-4-2 and sell Cherky, have Foden and Haaland captain. You're on a free hit. If I want free City attack on a free hit, I'll tell you, I put a free hit draft together for our differential show on Patreon today. I'll read that for you because I know ordinarily I'd go through this on the weekender, but there isn't one this week because of the weird Christmas schedule. Although there's not one next Friday either. It would be a game review podcast next Friday by looks of it. The free hit draft I put together on the differential show today was John and Sells as the keepers. So if you're going John, fine, but I'd go Sells as well. Dorgu, Chow, Van Dijk, Neto, Palmer. Even though I've actually got Palmer not predicted to start for Chelsea, I would gamble it if I was on a free hit because I think Chelsea is the differential. Wirtz, Cunha, Ekiteke, Haaland, Thiago. So only Haaland, all I got from City. You weren't asking that though. Anyway, like Milenkovic, Gabriel. I mean, I've got some Forest coverage in there. I haven't got any Arsenal defensive in that, believe it or not. So I'm. But that said, if you said to me, Milenkovic or Gabriel bench one, I would say to you, never bench Gabriel. So Gabriel. House of Bankies wins says, James, what's your thoughts on Victor Gyökeres and Mikel Arteta's perseverance with him as the 9? Do you think they play better with him there? And would Mido get more goals than him? You mean like Mido used to play for Tottenham? No. He was atrocious, mate. He had a great debut and then that was about it. Yeah, look, Arteta's invested in it. He wants to persevere with it, and I think it's fine. I think Arsenal look more fluid without him. But I think you've invested in it, and you try and play through it where you can. And ultimately, still top of the league. AT says, thoughts on Klein to heaven after deadline if the latter plays well again. Is it worth the early transfer and potentially gain a potential precious 0.1 value over the next couple of weeks to then what? Chain it onto another 4.0. Like Aiden Heaven, really short term, like Patrick Dorgu, is absolutely a perfectly reasonable shout in terms of a player to pick, right? And there'll be investment for those players. It's fine. Personally, I chose to go Alderete because I don't want to be pissing about with making transfers on 4.0s. I've gone, right, that's my 5th defender. That's locked for a seriously long time now, unless I have to replace him through injury or restructure. I want a big up 5 at the back or something like that. If I went for a Heaven or Dorgu, I know that there's a chance. If I had situations like today where you lose someone like Rice 2 hours before deadline, oh crap, got to piss about with this. I don't want to be doing it. Aiden Heaven has been playing outstanding recently for Manchester United, but it's also Manchester United without Harry Maguire, Matthias de Ligt, and Matsuraoui. Right, I don't think we can be looking at that. And we'll leave him on the bench. That's fine. If you're happy with that long term, to know that you might have a player that's kind of dead for your team through February and March, fine. Would I be wasting a transfer? Surely there's more precious ways of using transfers than that, in my opinion. Prashan says, hi, James. Happy New Year. Would you go Palmer over Gordon on free hit? Yes, I would. Look, because I'm predicting Palmer not to start, doesn't mean I wouldn't like take that gamble, I don't think. Because what I'd look at with Palmer, and I think worst case scenario is he gets half hour against a Bournemouth side that's shite on the road. Or he gets me an hour plus and I'd really fancy him. I've got Cole Palmer sitting 10th on captaincy. If I was really confident that he was going to start, he'd be in the top 5 without a doubt. That's the only reason he's as low as he is. So yeah, I would take the chance on Cole Palmer personally. Theo says, hey, James, happy holidays. Hope you enjoy some family time. Plan was to get Rice this week, but now with the injury news, which mid would you get 7.5 and below? My pick right now is Szoboszlai. Yeah, that's fine. I've just advised someone else out on socials as at least it's solid for the time being. He's just had a rest. He'll be great for minutes over this Christmas period. So, and he's on pens. So, yeah, I don't mind that as a pick. Tanky says, hi, James. Thoughts on whether Thiago starts? Yes, I think he will. I've seen the Keith Andrews quotes. I don't have an issue with it personally. Game's not till Thursday either. So, I think it's probably more of a problem for the next game or the game afterwards, right? So, the games are Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday for Brentford, right? So, it's been, when did they play? Saturday's Thursday, right? 5-day gap. Right, I would think it's one of the next two would maybe be more of a problem than this one. So I'll assess that if I need to. If I've got real concerns about him away to Everton, chances are with what I got in my squad, I might just bench the bastard, to be honest. Next up is Danjay Mahajan says, hi, James. What are your thoughts on going with Vicario and Dubravka as wildcard goalkeeper? Thanks. I'm going near any Tottenham player, mate, honestly. Jetty7 says, best defender to get for 4.7 or under. I mean, I could have said to you Michael Keane, but that would feel a bit naive now, wouldn't it, with these rumours going around of a potential absence. Anderson is still fine. Solid enough for Defcons. I don't think their long-term fixtures are great. Jan-Paul Van Heck may be an alternative at Brighton. Failing that, yeah, come down. I mean, the one thing about Heaven and Dorgu, he's like, you definitely can use these guys over the next three. It's worth noting Dorgu's on 4 yellows if you particularly need that for game week 20 as well. But it's only one game to obviously get through. I wouldn't be, like someone mentioned Fofana earlier, I wouldn't be going down that route. I'd almost prefer to come right down because I think as well, one of the reasons I got Alderete is after this week, I think the long-term fixtures are fine. Like other than game week 25 away to Arsenal, if I was in a shit situation and I had to play him, I'd be happy with that any other week. And actually game week 24, when then there's a few like Newcastle go to Liverpool, for example. Joachim Anderson goes to Manchester United. He's got Burnley at home. I quite like it. But I get it's like it's not ideal for this week if you particularly need it. You're wanting to jump up a little bit. So therefore, I'd probably come right down. Kieran Murphy says, hi, James. Start 2 of Hincapi, Timber, Anderson, and Thiago. Have the money and full free transfers to either Hincapi or Timber to Gabriel, but might wait until next week to do that. Yeah, I'd probably advise that. I would go Thiago and Timber, I think. I would play Thiago, yeah. You're asking the wrong guy. I'm not going to tell you to leave the forward out. It's about to play my team. Gavin Richardson says, hey up, James. How different do you feel about Spurs now compared to 1 year ago? And do you have Yorkshire puddings on your Christmas dinner plate usually? Yes, 100% for the second bit. How do I feel about Spurs now a year on? Equally as shit as I did this time last year, but last year was different in the sense like the injury issues. I mean, we've got a few now, but the injury issues this time last year, it was like an abomination, mate. We played Newcastle at home, was our first home game in January, and we ended up with Spence and Gray at centre back, Region at left back, Brandon Austin in goal. Like it was disastrous. So difficult to equate because at the time it just felt like a massive injury problem. Alex and Freitas says, hi, James. Have defensive issues with Hincapi, Keane. Have I said smash a like? By the way, smash a like, please. Hi, James. I have defensive issues with Hincapi, Keane, Richards, and Rondon. Solomon. I know you mean Joe Rodon. 1 free transfer, 0 in the bank. Hincapi to Chow, exact money to do VVD to Gabriel next game. Or do Richards to any 4.5 or below or roll. Hang on a minute. I'm just trying to work this out. You've got 0 in the bank. Richards could play. King could play. I get it. There's Rodon definitely is not going to play. Hincapi. Yeah, hold VVD for now. I understand the principle of the next game week. But Hincapi is going to become a problem for you. This thing is not wrong with keeping Richards. I'd be very tempted, truthfully, to flip Rodon to Alderete, as I've said. Or if you're like, well, that's shit for this week, then, yeah, go Dorgu or Heaven. You can't go to Dorgu, can you, at that, with nothing in the bank? Yeah, this kind of problem with the three cheaper ones there, you get kind of blocked here a little bit. It's nothing Newcastle. I'm not going to recommend Tottenham to you. Yeah, your solution might be road onto heaven, mate, at this moment in time. Eddie Jerobson says, hey, James, thoughts on these players on wildcard? Martinez and John, Keane, Dorgu, Rogers benched this week, and Gordon cheers. Wouldn't advise with the rumour going around about Michael Keane. It is only a rumour. I probably wouldn't be getting him in on a wild card at this moment. John, fine if it's with say Emi Martinez, yeah, if that's what you want, that's fine. Dorgu I've spoken about. Rogers on radar for me from 20. Gordon I've spoken about. Jock Goat says, hi James, which two from Richards, Keane, Timber, Minter would you start? Timber, Minter, mate. With all of them somewhat risky this week. I think I should do Richards to Dorgu. No. Patrick Clivett says, hi mate, 3 defenders for free hit this week. I read out a free hit team a little while ago. Thank you. Stefan P says, hi James, what defender under 5.5 would you recommend buying for a long-term hold? Happy New Year. I think timing is okay for Malik Chow. Nico O'Reilly as well, or Matthias Nunes if that's what you prefer. Fine. It all feels a bit thin on the ground at the moment. I think Newcastle will at least carry you for a while. Their fixtures from 24 onwards are not brilliant. But just in the sense there's Liverpool away 24, Man City away 27. Otherwise, it's okay. And you could use him for the rest. And it's reasonable, I think. But I would... Like, I've got him. And it's fine. I wouldn't be buying him at this moment, I don't think. I'd be more interested in coming down cheaper again to make sure I got the priority for me of having the right Arsenal defence, which for me moving forward is Timber and Gabriel. That would be the priority for me. That's kind of what I've done with like the Alderete move. So I would want that. In my advice, it's like, can you get the Timber and Gabriel? If so, don't limit yourself to 5.5, come down lower. If you can do that with Chow, I think that's great. Another good reason for Alderete for me was like brilliant rotation for Malik Chow. So those two fixtures I just said that Chow has, Alderete has Burnley at home and Fulham at home in those 2 weeks. Right, this is ideal for me. I'm not a hero. Real Nixter says, hi James, would you start Joachim Anderson or Maxence Lacroix considering I have Harry Wilson? Thanks, mate. Yeah, I get it. All in strategy. On the face of it, comfortably Lacroix over Anderson. But I totally understand the all-in strategy. And on that basis, I would be tempted to go Anderson. Dana J says, hi, James. What are your thoughts on going Szoboszlai over Wirtz and wildcard Rogers instead of Cherky? I wouldn't go Wirtz at the moment. Great. Scored against Wolves. Those on. Going to carry it for a little bit. Brilliant. I would not be chasing after Florian Wirtz. R1CH says, hi James, not really a question, but please try and cover free hit thoughts. I've done that. I hope that's helped you. Damma how. Thank you, mate. Sorry. Hi James, do you think Hincapi starts? Yes. Murphy says, Rodon to Dorgu, have Timber and Rice and need short-term high ceilings. Then yes, fine. Gavin says, what will be higher, the number of Rice questions or the percentage of likes on this stream? I'm going to hope it's the percentage of likes on stream. Let's have a look. How many of you have smashed a like? 20%, you know. Shocking stuff. It's free content, guys. Smash a like, please. Amenda Bag says, hi, James. Hope you're doing well, mate. Was set all these days on Saka and Minter to Rice and Cunha. Yeah, I understand that. But now with the Rice news, is it worth it to sell Saka for Cunha? Thanks, mate. Yeah, I tell you why. One, massive ceiling today. Two, it leaves your options open in a couple of weeks. So Arsenal got a challenging few fixtures. At the end of Cunha's run, you can then make a decision, say, right, well, it's now I can go Minter back up to Rice or I can go Cunha back up to Saka. If I was going to do that, I'd leave the money. Don't get tempted to spend it over the weekend. That would probably be my advice of that, unless it carries you back to Gabriel. If you're not sure, stay with Saka. Sarsaparilla says, Ben Chilwell, Miley, Potts and Alderete, please. I think I'd go Alderete over Potts. It's just a higher ceiling, isn't it? Karen says, hello, James. Hope Chalobah. Oh, sorry. Have Chalobah, Nico O'Reilly, Lacroix, Calafiori, Rodon. Have 1.8 million in the bank. Should I do Rodon to Gabriel and Semenyo down to a mid under 7 million -4, or just do Calafiori to Gabriel? Just do Calafiori to Gabriel for the moment. You've got some cover there. You're in a much stronger position defensively than many others. Rodon's probably your only absentee there. Small risk to Chalobah this week, I think. The rest should be okay. Yes, I would do that. Hit from Semenyo to something cheaper. I don't see anything good enough, personally. Mark says, Timber to Dorgu and Rice to Saka from -4 hit. No. I think Timber will play, mate. I think he'll play. Dana J says, I spoke about this quite a bit on our Patreon podcast today. Kind of my key point on it was that I really think those who have the value in Jurian Timber should not be selling him. Dana J says, I have 12.5 million, so what combo offers best value in third forward and fifth mid, cheap forward or cheap mid? What? Cunha and whatever you can fit around it. But I don't like that set, mate. I don't. What is this, the wild card question? I would rather, truthfully, that you went on a combination of something like Bowen. What's Bowen? 7.5-ish? Was that maybe 5? Probably not enough. But yeah, something like that. Bowen and Stack. I want the 3 forwards, personally. FPL Economist says, hi, James. Would you do Minter, Semenyo to Szoboszlai and Rodon? I don't know if you're missing a player here, mate. And Rodon to Chow, or just save free transfer and hope Timber, Minter, Semenyo play? I prefer saving. Yeah, it's save, mate. I'm not sure I understand the question. Melon Musk says, would you do the Nico O'Reilly to Cherky switch? No. I'm not doing it. Heather says, hi, James. Free hit team plays. I've done that. King of Mandalore. Hi, James. Need to cover Rice. No free transfer. 0.9 million in the bank. -4 Truffer to Dorgu or other defender 5.4 or below. Or just play one of Truffer Stack. I don't think there's anything wrong with playing Anto Stack this week, honestly. He's on set plays. He's playing well. He's capable of defcons. I don't hate it. I probably prefer that to taking a -4 when a lot of the game looks undesirable at this moment. Gavin says, any chance you could pretty please stop saying I'm not getting rid of player X before they play Spurs, as my FPL assets keep blanking when you say that. Say it your way. No, I'm not going to, mate. Sam Watson says, hope you're well, mate. 1 free transfer. Hincapi to Gabriel. Silly or not. Also smash the like button. And Happy New Year, mate. Sorry, I missed that a bit you wanted. Like, I get it. It's like Gabriel's desirable, okay? How do you feel if Hincapi starts and Gabriel doesn't? Is that a possibility here? Well, it has to be, doesn't it? I think Gabriel play. I think they both play. But I don't know. The only thing I would say is, inevitably, you want to make that move anyway. So, should you just do it? Are you inevitably doing that next week anyway, irrespective of what happens today? Probably yes. So I'm going to say, yeah, okay. But I want to say to you that I don't know. I think Hincapi will start. Yago says, need 0.3 to do Saliba to Gabriel, which I want long term. The most natural ways to get that done are in combination with VVD or Virch transfer next game or the one after. Wait, okay, or find other way now. Well, Liverpool got a good fixture this week, mate. It says wait, isn't it? Chim says, bought Grealish on a whim last week. I feel sorry for you. Should I correct the mistake? And if so, which midfielders under 6.8 are good options? What's your first sub, first and foremost? Because the next 2 fixtures are the best. Brentford and Wolves at home are 2 very good fixtures afterwards. So you made a commitment to probably the 4 fixtures. The hardest one of which was tonight. If Jack Grealish doesn't show for Everton tonight, who's your first sub? If that's decent, I'd leave it. If you're coming off, probably, yeah, in and around Szoboszlai, something like that, I think. Morecambe says, hi James, is Timber to Gabriel worthwhile? I'm going to say no because I want both of them. Classy Citizen says, hello James, I need all of your thoughts on Dominic Szoboszlai for free transfer. I think of swapping Verts. Bought last game it to Szoboszlai for mid to long term due to money. Yeah, but I wouldn't bother doing it now, mate. What did we go Verts for? Joss for Wolves. Well, it still leads this week. We think Verts can't outscore Szoboszlai this week. I mean, if we think that, then we really should have never paid for Verts at 8 million plus anyway. So I'd leave that be. Go to 5, mate. Whoosh says, Dewsbury Hall and Richards to Dorgu and Cherky -4. Yeah, I can understand that. It just pays, obviously, in appearance points alone, really. Daniel George, should I play Semenyo? Yes, probably. I don't think he'll start. Johnny 5 says, hi, James. Please like and subscribe. I can't, but you can. Thank you. Sam Watson, Dubravka or Petrovic for goalkeeper, James? Dubravka, mate. There's way more chance of Burnley shithousing themselves to a 1-0 win than Bournemouth. I mean that. That's on reality. Newcastle fans will back me up on that. Shobit says, Senesi, Chow, Wilson, DCL. Start 2. The attacking players, mate. Also, should I play Rhea Timber or Dubravka Timber? Not double up an Arsenal defender. What is this, mate? Come on. Just play the Arsenal players. JM says, Semenyo to Szoboszlai or Rodon to Dorgu and bench Semenyo. Look, Semenyo is going to need dealing with, and I understand that. So if excuse me, if Szoboszlai is your player of choice, and you know that's the one you want, then please proceed and do it now. But if you're not sure, and particularly maybe if you don't own Morgan Rogers, is that Semenyo to Rogers in Gameweek 20? Is that better? It might be. Mr. Feeper says, hi James, would you start Rogers over a second Arsenal defender now that Rice is out? No. No, although I'm intrigued to see it because I think the Arsenal, in fairness, they have had injury issues this year, right? Mind you, when you got as many players as they have, you probably are going to have some absentees. But I have been fascinated to try and know how they would cope if they lost, say, Rice and Zubimendi. The two players, we haven't seen them really. But it's worth saying, Rice played right back at the weekend, right? So the midfield trio will probably be the same tonight as it was against Brighton. And until Brighton nicked a goal, they were very comfortable in the game. Mr. John B says, nice shirt, James. Where's it from? It's not a shirt, actually. It's a jumper. What's actually on the T-shirt underneath is my THF. I was gonna lift my top up then. No one wants to see that, do they? My THFC, but it's kind of like a thin jumper. Where did it come from? Do you know what? I'd have to check the label. Mrs. bought it for me. She buys all my clothes. That's why I look like shit. Baby Bay Sipadine says, hi James, great content over the Christmas period. Some things are true and some aren't. You can decide which one of the last two statements is and isn't. Is it worth taking Mount out for a -4? 7.5 million in the bank, if so, for a midfielder, and benching one of Nico Williams and Anthony Robinson, or just bench Mount? Cheers. Take it. Mount. How gutted are you if he plays? Nico Williams is very good, I think, for this week. I expect points still. I mean that. Andy Robinson's also okay. So I'd leave that probably be at the moment. Matt Neweth says, hey, mate, 10 playing, taking a -4. Which of these appeals to you? Dewsbury Hall to Rogers or Gordon, or Richards to Gabriel Keane? Richards to Gabriel, mate. Jay Dooney says, hey, James, happy holidays. Start Wilson, Raul Jimenez or Vandenberg. Cheers. Fulham players. Yep, there you go. I said it. Fine. The attacking players. Daniel Scar says, I have 4 free transfers. No Cunha. So I sell Rice to Cunha now and then find a way to get Rice back with the increased funds I get when I likely sell Ekiteke next week. What's the rush to sell Ekiteke? Not sure I agree with that, but in any case, Daniel, yes, I would say, yeah, go get Cunha, mate. FPL Bro says, hey, James, good luck this game week. Lewis Miley or Keane? Michael Keane, mate. SJ Emerson, evening, mate. Where would Collins be on your bench in dilemmas? Bench 2 between him, Chalobah, O'Reilly. Collins last. Yeah, honestly, I had this question on Team News Stream about Vandenberg and where would he fit on the dilemmas, and I said kind of between the two Andersons, and I wouldn't I wouldn't deem Collins any different, only in the sense Collins definitely plays. Vandenberg's had a knock at the weekend, but I think they're very similar in terms of what they are as assets. So in there, ultimately, Brentford's home record, absolutely outstanding. But there is more trust in Chelsea and Manchester City. James Brennan says, thoughts on Morgan Gibbs-White for free hit, mate? Like, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I would prefer Amari Hutchinson, but I don't hate that. Vertica says, start Lamans or John Victor on free hit, mate. I mean, if you're going Lamans, you've got to start him, haven't you? That I don't think that's the best use of Manchester United assets this week. That's what I would say. But if you're choosing between Lamans and Victor, you've got to start Lamans, haven't you? Yago says, I assume you wouldn't consider benching Thiago for Van Heck this week, even after the recent Andrews comments. Right, hang on. I've seen the comments, and he says, all he says is, which we knew, he was a doubt going into the Wolves game, right? So he didn't play at Manchester City, and he was a doubt for the Wolves game. And all he said was, like, he put himself out there for the team by playing that way, and yeah, he's not like quite 100% at the moment. Right, we can read too much into this. He's almost prepping for like, okay, look, I might have to leave this fella out at some point. I don't think it's going to be this game. I really, really don't. Sheriff Gabba says, where does Vandenberg fall in your benching dilemmas? Can't see him. I mean, I've just covered that. That's handy for you. Kaparawat says, if you were listening to the bit about Collins, hey, James, would you transfer out Rice for Szoboszlai or anyone else under 7.2? I've got 2 free transfers. My bench is Vandenberg, Potts and Alderete. So I would imagine Vandenberg plays. Potts and Alderete should also play, but I understand it's easier for me looking at Wilson O'Reilly in the background. I get that. Ultimately, though, as I said earlier in the stream, if you committed to Declan Rice, you probably did it like I did it, thinking, right, he's in and that's it now. So him maybe missing one game doesn't feel like reason for me to take him out. I don't think. I'd be keen to have more information because you went Rice, I'm guessing, for the longer term. So if I said to you now, Declan Rice will be back for the weekend, what do you do? I'll probably roll. Without extra information, and it does sound like he's trained and tried. That seems to be what the report is in the Athletic. It's like they've tried it. It's not quite right. They don't want to risk him. That's what it sounds like. Now, I'm always very cautious. When you mention knee, I think, not sure about that. But that's what the report says. That's the only info we've got at the moment. So if that was me, truthfully, I think I'd still want him. So I'd roll. William Groom says, free hit pick Palmer or Saka. If it's just choosing between those two specifically, then I would say Saka, particularly with this Rice info. Now, Francis Logan says, Frimpong or Hall, pick one, James, free hit. Both minor risks of not playing. Frimpong maybe a slightly bigger risk. More upside, I think, in Frimpong, but also Newcastle was one of the few I predicted for a clean sheet this week. So I think probably Lewis Hall. For me, it might be a case that you're asking the wrong person. Most people in this stream think that, I think, anyway. P. Macca says, Happy New Year, James, you and yours, and to you too. Tangerine Chris says, hi, James. I asked on Friday if it was ridiculous to wait to decide between Cunha and Rice for Bruno. I waited until last night. You already know what Trent said, mate. Now relying on Rangers. I'm so sorry, mate. Yeah, you won't have been alone, mate. You've got my sympathy, mate. It's just unlucky. Frederick Hertz says, if I want Cunha in, I have to sacrifice either Rice or Timber for Miley or Dorgu. What do you prefer? So this is different, right? So the ones talking about Szoboszlai, it's like, oh, Rice isn't available. Szoboszlai is all right, isn't it? Cunha is, I mean, reviews got him highest for points this week, I think I saw earlier today. So a lot of the analytic crowd are going to come and captain Matthias Cunha this week, right? That's different. I'll be putting him in. So, yeah, I'd be putting Cunha in, mate. I don't want to get rid of Timber. Olivia Sarian says, Happy New Year, James. Start two of Minter, Wilson, Elliot Anderson. Minter and Wilson, mate. LP says, hi, James. Would you move Tavernier for Anderson, Hutchinson, Casemiro, for bench boost or just leave it and save the transfer. I'll probably leave it. Should be all right for minutes tonight. I think Marcus Tavernier could even be on pens. And it's a strong chance moving forward once Semenyo's gone that he's on the pens just generally for Bournemouth. So I'd probably just hold on to that at the moment. I've got them bottom of the ticker over the next 5, but then once you hit 24 again, I've got them up to them 4th. So yeah, it might be one if you can kind of use it as a rotating option. I'd probably recommend that at the moment. Shout out for our patrons, as always, for the support of the show. If there's any team news, guys, please drop me a tag on Slack. And I'll get it shared with the gang here. There are further rumours going around about Michael Keane. They are only rumours at this stage. It's not reliable sources I'm seeing at the moment. But further rumours that Michael Keane not in the Everton squad tonight. Just rumours. And Charlie Alcaraz, his name has been mentioned in that as well now. Just checking a few messages just in case there's anything in on team news. Now that one will please Bradley Parker. It means nothing for this stream. Right, let's do a question while I'm blagging it. Ben Thomas, should I play Heaven instead of Gabriel, Timber, O'Reilly, Gordon, Voltamade, Thiago? Cheers. I mean, yeah, I'll pick him over O'Reilly, mate. Yeah, on the fixture this week. Sean G says, hi, James. Hope you're well. Ignore if this is on the bench in dilemmas, but one of Keane, Anderson, or O'Reilly. Ignored, Sean. Wish you the best of luck. Barry Morrison says, hi, James. On free hit, best rice replacement below 7.4. We'll go Gabriel to Dorgu. Gabriel, sell Gabriel. My goodness. What a world we live in. Every man and his dog trying to get him. Barry, I love you. Barry's like, oh, I can't deal with this. I've gone from 3 Arsenal, so I'll have 1 Arsenal. Absolutely love that, mate. And what have you done? Have you left him sitting there for 6 weeks just to like sell him now or so? It's magnificent that. Then please don't sell Gabriel. I kind of like the thinking of it in a roundabout way because you're thinking there's everything below Rice is a bit shit. Surely if you go Rice to folk, you not just go Cherky. I mean, Cherky, by the way, if you're not on Free Man City, Cherky is an absolutely brilliant option here. So if you're thinking Rice to Foden and you need to sell Gabriel to make that happen, surely the answer here, if you want to move on Declan Rice, surely he's Ray and Cherky, isn't it? Szoboszlai versus Gordon, not for this game week only. How many game weeks though? I think Szoboszlai, personally. Yeah, I think the game's different. Milady Rovrat says Szoboszlai versus Gordon, not for this game week only. It was so good, I read it twice. Dan Meehan, hi James, is Heaven from United worth a 3-week punt? Thanks in advance. Look, if you can leave it dead on your bench for the rest of that February and March, if he's out the team and you're okay with that, then yeah, sure, be my guest. He's a 3.8 million defender playing for a team who's got loads of 2 clean sheets this season, playing a Wolves team who never score away from home against Liverpool and Arsenal in their last 2. Yeah, get him in. No, seriously, it's fine. You said 3-week punt, no problem. Mitchell Joseph says, hi James, I've got Timber, Vandenberg and Esteve in my squad with 1 free transfer, 0.6 in the bank. Do you think any of those need addressing, as was planned on bringing in Cunha, but not sure if it's worth a -4? I think all 3 of them players will play, mate. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Michael O'Hare says, hi James, would you move Hincapi and Minter to Gabriel and Reinders? Hope you have a good New Year's Eve. I wouldn't chase Reinders at this point, mate. Once Semenyo's in the door, he's possibly the full guy here as well. And you got Doku coming back soon as well. So when Doku was fit, Reinders weren't. Yeah, I wouldn't be going Reinders at this point, mate. I'd be considering other options and not forcing it, considering the next 2 fixtures that Minter's got. Lefo Gonolo says, hi James, happy new year. Start both DCL and Wilson or punt on Gordon to bench one of the other 2. Listen, if Leeds score on Thursday, he's the most likely scorer, isn't he? Next up is David James Whiteway. Love this stream, mate. Pickford or Dubravka? I would go Pickford. FPL Uproar, good luck and a happy new year, mate. All the best, you too. Thank you, buddy. Morecambe says, hi, is Semenyo a better or worse FPL option if he's at Manchester City? There's only one person who can answer that, mate, and he's got less hair than me. There ain't many people in that situation. Rhino says, hi, mate, would you start Vandenberg or transfer him from -4 to any defender of my choice, or Josh King up to a maximum 8.2 million midfielder? Right, if you can go Josh King up to Matthias Cunha, I'm really not going to tell you not to do that. But would, in terms of Vandenberg specifically, nah, leave it be. I think you'll probably play, mate. Niharun Cat says, got 1 free transfer remaining. Should I do Rice to Gordon? Nah, just start, stack, fine, for cover you. Will Mercer, hi James, great streamers per. Bench 1 of Van Dijk, Matthias Nunes or Wilson, and captain Haaland or Cunha. Thanks. I'm captain Haaland. Out of that, I would have benched Matthias Nunes just behind Harry Wilson as per benching dilemmas and the team on screen with O'Reilly behind Wilson. Tice says, hi Jimbo, thanks for the great content again. Last one this year. Start Joachim Anderson or Vandenberg. I probably should have put Vandenberg on the bench in dilemma, shouldn't I? Home advantage, slight preference to Vandenberg. I have an inkling, as I said on stream yesterday, or on the podcast yesterday, that I think we might play a back three, and I think it might be suitable for this game. I don't know if Thomas Frank's going to do it, but I think that he might. Sorry, just checking in on a few messages just in case there's anything on team news. Again, shout out to our patrons. Please double check sources. If we've got anything, drop me a tag on Slack. You can join Slack via Patreon, www.patreon.com/planetfpl. You got access to Slack from basic plus tier. There's never, ever any team leaks in there at all. Next up is Neil Kager on free hit and brought in John from Forest as a possible alternative to Raya, but do you think he's now first over Sells? Thanks and hit the like, folks. Happy New Year. My best advice to you, Neil, is put them both in. If you're on free hit, go Sells and John, mate. It's the smartest play. Catherine says, play 2 of Anderson of Fulham, O'Reilly, Keane, and Elliot Anderson. Nico O'Reilly and then Michael Keane, with probably the 2 Andersons are next to each other on the bench in dilemmas. Unolomesco starting Hincapi, Timber, Semenyo. Sounds like all should play. Benches Miley, Senesi, Rodon. 2 free transfers, 0 in the bank. Not keen on using a free transfer on Rodon. Fine to roll, or would you deal with Senesi? Cheers. Good luck. When do you plan to use Senesi moving forward? And also, if you don't know where you want to go, then like leave it for the time being is what I would say. Daniel George says Semenyo. Josh Grant says Dorgu, James and Dallo as back free hit. I think Rhys James is a dangerous one. 3 days after last game, we cannot be sure that he starts, mate. I would not go. That's a little bit, at least with Palmer, if I punted that, I'd be like, right, what's my worst case scenario? He gets half hour against that shitty Bournemouth backline on the road. That's my worst case scenario. James is a bit different, isn't it? So, no, I would not go Rhys James on a free hit. Dorgu, Dallo, if you want to go Manchester United double defence tonight, my only advice to you is watch Arsenal against Aston Villa, mate. Gareth says, hi, James. Please order my bench. Joachim Anderson, Wharton, Richards. Yeah, that order, I think, mate. We are circa 10 minutes from deadline. I'm probably not going to get through all these questions, but I'm going to try and do my best to do so. Gareth says, hi, James. Please order my bench. I've done. TJ says, hey, James, would you go Anderson to Chalobah and get in early for the good run? Can bench against City or roll? I mean, it's a roll. It's close enough, right? I think there's probably... I understand what you're saying. Principle's okay. But I don't think you get much seeing. He's not a certain... I think he'll start tonight, but he's not 100%. So, no, I'd leave that be. Alan Gonzalez says, should I keep Rice on wildcard? I think if you're on wildcard, you go somewhere else. That would be clear. That's different to me sitting here going, well, I don't want to deal with that at the moment. AP UK says, would you have a Spurs defender on a wildcard such as Porro? No, I said this on the team news stream I did for our advanced tier patron, intermediate tier patrons last Friday. I was asked about Spurs assets and I said The Spurs asset will probably be best over the next month is Brennan Johnson. And the reason why it'd be Brennan Johnson is because he'd probably be sold. Maybe playing for someone else. Mike Totti says, on bench boost with no free transfers, should I panic sell Michael Keane? Also, Kudos on Minter for next week. I'm not telling you Kudos, am I? To be fair, Kudos over the next 4 or 5 is okay. As long as you don't have high expectations for it. I.e., it'll maybe get you 20 points or so across 5. You happy with 4 points a week or something like that? 4 to 5 points a week maybe across the next 5. Like, it's okay. I'm not thrilled on the idea of Minter either, but yeah, I mean, if I was in a position to buy Minter or Kudos at this minute, I'd still buy Minter, I think. Panic sell Michael Keane. Yeah, Manchester United player. Charles Aberton says, any news on Michael Keane being out? Only the rumours, which I've shared, and nothing additional to that at this moment, as far as I can see. Again, patrons, let us know. We've got 4 games kicking off at 7:30 tonight. Drop us a tag. Howard Green says, Rice replacement up to 6.9 on free hit. Cherky or shove the structure around. Blow Mind says, start Sanchez and bench Semenyo, or start Semenyo and play Areola. I'd probably just play Sanchez and Semenyo, mate. Ben Taylor says, hi James, on a bench boost but still have Dewsbury Hall. Is it worth transferring him out for a hit? Only 5.6 available. Shit. Yeah, fuck a duck, man. If I knew Odebear was going to play, I'd no jokes, I'd maybe say do that. Please don't. Cannot be sure that he starts. It's fucking shit in there, man. No, for a hit, no. No. I think there's a lesson in this, guys, by the way. Like, if we got the same chip situation next season, don't bench boost in Game Week 19. The longer you leave this, the more likely this is going to happen, particularly over Christmas period. It shouldn't be getting used. It's not criticism. It's just learn a lesson that in future, don't use bench boosts over Christmas periods. Next up is Abalikasha, Rutter, Gabriel for Senesi, Semenyo, -4. Have Richards, Rodon, Kane. I wouldn't buy Jorginho, Rutter. No interest in that whatsoever. So, alternative, if that's what you're trying to sell to me. Prefer Calvert-Lewin. Hang on, Rutter's a midfielder, isn't he? Grim that. Fuck you know. Something different. It's a midfielder's under 6 and so shit at the moment. Buy Casado. There you go. Literal buy Casado, mate. A Nematali says, hi James, thinking about ignoring my free hits. I'm happy my team would lose on some punts, but would not lose my free transfer that I'm going to need in the weeks ahead. If you generally think that you can't improve your team by 2 players anywhere at all, good luck to you, mate. And you're definitely not a Declan Rice owner. Because that would have been nice for you, wasn't it? Lurch says, Dewsbury Hall, Sade, 2 transfers, starting Sade with an Anderson on the bench and Cape starting 3-5-2. I wouldn't chase after Kevin Sade at this moment, personally. I get you want to move on Dewsbury Hall. You want to punt it for a bit, fine. But the Hall, I'm pretty sure, even though, look at it, they're playing my team, I'm going to say, I think the best has gone, mate. We missed it. I was ahead of my time in Game Week 13. Who knows what might have happened if he never got booked against Tottenham. Archie Station says, reckon any benching for Gabriel in the coming weeks? Once he's in, I think, mate. I don't think Arsenal have an easy enough fixture, particularly. Probably Champions League. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play Champions League games. I mean that. Ben Rose says, hi James, I had to use bench boost this week and have no free transfers. I have Rice. Should I take a -4 to go Rogers, Szoboszlai or Gravenberch? If you've got to do that, go Szoboszlai, mate. Jimmy Mickey D says, hello James, hope all's well. I was playing Rice with Miley third on my bench, benching Rice now to play Miley. Why has he gone from third bench to first? I don't understand. Ports, or should I play Keane or Anderson instead of Miley? Yeah, both of them defenders, mate. Joshy Grant says, Reece James and Palmer punt on free hit. Palmer, yes. Reece James, no, as I've explained. Thoughts on Neto at Chelsea, says Ollie Smythe. I'm monitoring him. And again, wouldn't mind it for a free hit this week. Not quite buy zone yet for me. Eros Milicevic says, hi James, your thoughts on buying Szoboszlai to upgrade King? Okay, fine. Dana J says, hi James, how are you for going about with Areola and Dubravka goalkeeper combo over the Dubravka and Bart combo? Why would I want to do that? And why would you want to do that? Is a very, very serious question. FPL Vesta says, since you're a Spurs fan, could VDV be an option? Next question. Brown and Man says, will Villa fall apart now Kamara is out? They seem to struggle without him. They might, but he's only out for one game. IHM says, Happy New Year, James. I'm on free hit. Would you risk playing Reece James or Frimpong? Probably Frimpong. Also, Semenyo v Gordon v Voltamade. Cheers, mate. That one, I'd probably Gordon. FPL Clueless is how I feel. How confident are you in your captaincy pick over Cunha? Like, I've thought about it for a whole 5 seconds this week. Zem says, hold Sade or sell for Cunha. Sell. Magnificent. Take your 20 points and run. Jumpers for goalposts. What's your view on Miley as a fifth mid, but playing him this week? Yeah, he's okay. He's fine. Wesley says, hi, James. Got 2 free transfers set up in a 3-4-3 structure. I'm looking at moving Dewsbury Hall to Gordon and Lacroix to Dorgu, or 4.3 defender. Wilson's my 8th attacker, and defense would rotate Dorgu and Anderson. Thoughts? Too many words in your question. Good luck. Rajdeep Chakraborty says, hi, James. Thanks for all the good work you and Sush do. He don't do much. Quick question. Lacroix, Anderson. Still Lacroix for me. If Keane doesn't start, Anderson ahead of Lacroix, Anderson. Have a good week and a happy new year. Elliot Anderson last, the 2 defenders first. Brown and Man says, if Semenyo moves to City, I'll have Cherky, Semenyo, Ruben Diaz, and Haaland. Which would you sell in Game Week 20? Semenyo. It's not the answer you want to hear, but that's the answer I'm going to give you. 3 minutes to deadline, guys. Be getting yourselves locked in. Barry says, play 1, bench 1. Ugarte, Richarlison. Please keep up the good work. Play Richarlison. Fancy Fluker. Hi, James. Play Raul or Minter. Raul Jimenez. AJ Tizzy. Start 3 of Timber, Wilson, Minter, Van Heck. Can we do that as bench 1, please? Van Heck. Boris says, wildcard draft this week. I mean this genuinely seriously. 13 of the players that are in my team now. No jokes. It'd be so little change that I would make if I was on wildcard now. Abish says, hope you had a lovely Christmas, James. Thanks for the content throughout. Thoughts on Foden, Saka to Cunha. Sure, if you want to chase the upside of that, but you'll probably reverse it in a few weeks. Rowan says, hi, James. I have Timber, Rice, Richards, Rodon, and Mark Gu. I already used my free transfer on Bruno to Cunha. Should I take a -4 for Rodon to Dorgu? -4 for Manchester United defender. What's become of our lives? Gamble it, mate. Yes. Josh Grant says, hi, James. Best Chelsea defender on free hit. I really want James, but worried he won't start. On free hit, I would be very surprised if Wesley Fofana doesn't start. Sorry if he doesn't. Gillian Wheaton says, glad I missed your free hit spiel as my free hit team is on a wing and a prayer. And if you do me the favour now, I've given your noggin a rub for the trifecta of good luck, which is much needed. Good luck. Abacasasa, Rutter, Gabriel. I've already done that one. Aaron McCord, an evening, mate. Who would you start, Wilson or Timber? Wilson, actually. Jock Goat says, best midfielder to buy this game at under 7.4. Cherky. Left Gonolo says, any Newcastle attacker worth a hit to punt this week or wait a week for Semenyo out? Wait. Dennis Reynolds, thanks. We got that. FPL Aficionado, hey James, Happy New Year in advance. Good luck for Gameweek 19 on free hit. Birch, Cherky, Hall, or Foden Szoboszlai. Ciao. First option. Sin Hugh, that's so many words in there, but good luck. Which 3 players should I bench from? Thiago, Wilson, Miley, Anderson, Tarkovsky, the last 3. Offside footy, best free hit team for Game Week 19, and did that right near the start, mate, but it's probably not mine. Jock Goat says, Keane apparently out, Gordon bench, both. I've not heard anything about Anthony Gordon. Be careful, watch your sources if you're putting that sort of thing in the chat. Nothing from my guys on Slack about that. So, I mean, Newcastle got the worst ITKs, mate. I mean that genuinely. Would you do Keane to Dorgu? Probably not. Jay says, is Keane out? We'll find out in about 15 minutes because deadline has hit. Sorry to those of you whose questions I couldn't get to. I tried my best. If you came just for the FPL stuff, smash a like, hit the sub button. If you want to submit some non-FPL questions, I'm happy to cover them off for 15 minutes or so, and then we'll go through the team news for the 7:30 p.m. kickoffs at 6:15. If you would like to, or if you can support the show, or just because you want to say really, really, really nice Happy New Year to me, please support the show at www.patreon.com/planetfpl. Plenty of content over on Patreon still to come. We've got Tottenham tomorrow, midweek FPL Dilemma, team news stream for advanced tier patrons on Friday, and also a differential show for advanced and intermediate tier patrons on Friday as well. There is a deadline stream on Saturday. I believe it's 10 a.m. UK time for Game Week 20. I think I've got that right. There is no content on New Year's Day. There will be, for all of you, a Game Review podcast on Friday. And tomorrow, bit of a laid back, chill vibe as we're in the middle of the game week. Tom Campbell is hosting a quiz on 2025, putting me to the test. Nice laid back for your New Year's Eve for you. Then we're back with a game review pod on Friday. Plenty of free content. If you don't want the Patreon stuff, then just smash a like, hit the sub button. If you can support the show, it's www.patreon.com/planetfpl. And you can, of course, sign up as a free member on Patreon as well. If you don't want to offer it, you can't afford, it's fine. Support the show for free. Have a look at the best bits. I'll have that out tomorrow as well. The best bits of our last 10 days on Patreon. That'll be available to free and all paying patrons. It is 6:01. Breaking news. Declan Rice is in the Arsenal team. Jokes, not really. It doesn't matter. It didn't impact anyone. The deadline's gone. Right, let's have some non-FPL stuff. Who's in? Howard Green. I think you're going to be first there. Non-FPL question. Is there a new season of Traitors starting soon? Yes, in 2 days. Bring it. Yeah, generally it's back on New Year's Day, mate. Which is going to piss my missus off no end because I'm going to Brentford Thursday night. And there's no... Do you know what? She ain't going to stay up. B, I need to watch the rest of the football before the game review part. So Thursday night, East out. Friday night, it's my mum's birthday. So we're going to be probably around there quite late. Deadline stream Saturday, football Saturday. Don't know when we're going to watch it, you know. Don't know. We'll get there. We love the Traitors. It's the only time me and my wife still talk to each other is actually during the Traitors. Next up is, Ziram. Sorry, excuse me. Appreciate you doing a rapid fire on our questions, mate. I tried. Gavin Richardson. What's more irritating, Sam Matterface's commentary or people who shake excessively at urinals? Sam Matterface's commentary, mate. I mean, what's wrong with shaking excessively? Huh? It's all right. As long as your aim's all right. Joe Pickerel, meet up to watch a World Cup match in summer. I'll have details of something for patrons soon. It's for patrons. Sorry, I'm not doing it publicly. Maybe for something else, yeah, but I've got an idea. The patrons know what it is. I just need to, I've not had time with the fixtures, just need to put some plans in place. But yeah, there will be something during, almost definitely a Saturday during the World Cup, I think. Could end up being a Friday, possibly. Joe Pickerel, that short question. Reedy says, can't afford to give you any cash, but Happy New Year, James, mate. That's fine. I totally get that, mate. You could support the show for free, though. It won't cost you anything. And you can have the best bits every week. And there's a few podcasts from this month that are available on Patreon for free members as well. Occasionally, I put some stuff out for free members. You at least have the best bits every week and see some of the stuff we do on Patreon. It's free, mate. Diljitsi, what is the best New Year's Eve night you've had? What I will definitely say is I've not been out on New Year's Eve for probably about 10 years. Yeah, it's an awful night to go out. I say this every year. Because what happens is people it's New Year's Eve, so people think they have to get like a plaster. Oh, gotta make it like the best night ever. Well, let's celebrate. And then 12:15 hits and the same thing happens to everybody. Oh, nothing changed. Like people expect this magic bit of stardust or something's going to happen after midnight. And then there's the come down. Oh, I drank too much. And someone has to start fucking crying and stuff. Oh, what's going on? It's either someone's crying or someone's fighting. It's an awful night to go out. Best night out I've had on New Year's Eve. It's probably like something when I was really young. I bet probably when I was like 17 or something. I remember I remember one night working in a pub in Wood Green. This is, yeah, I was probably about 18, maybe 19. And yeah, it went somewhere else afterwards. That was a good night. That was a New Year's Eve. Probably not a good idea. That's a great name. Thanks, James. Happy New Year. You're very welcome. Blow Mind says, thoughts on the new offside rule proposal with Charleston sticking his lips. Poor fucking guy. He's actually, you know what? You know I'm a big critic of him. He's not been playing too badly recently. I have to say, he's been doing all right. better anyway. Although his performance at Forest was atrocious. But the rest of this month, actually, he's been pretty decent on the whole. All right, so he had one bad one in there. I prefer that. With him, it's like one good, two shit is what it's always been. Actually, this month, he's probably had 4 good and like 1 bad. So, yeah, I'll give it up for Richie a bit. It's awful. I presume this is the whole Wenger stuff. I saw a headline about it today. I presume that was kind of what it's all about. Yeah, it's absolute nonsense. This isn't going to make football better. Oh, but there'll be more goals scored. No, what you're going to get is everyone defend 10 yards deeper. This is not a solution. And now things that look offside might now be onside to the naked eye. It ain't gonna make the VAR moaning go away and be like, oh, is he stud onside or offside? It's not gonna change anything. And largely it's just gonna make teams play more defensive football. It's a horrendous idea in my opinion. Nectarios says, where's the furthest you travelled for a football game? The furthest I've travelled for a football game. God, my geography is not the best here. So, what would be? What would be furthest? Trying to go down the south of. So Bilbao's North Spain, so it's obviously not that. Madrid, Barca, Munich's kind of that way. Prague is further, isn't it? Is Prague further than Munich? And I've done Milan. Udine. Kind of feel like Udine might be the answer because we had to go to Venice and then get a 2-hour train from Venice to get to Udine. So I feel like Udine might be the right answer. Might be. I'm not sure. It's one of them ones I just mentioned. Whichever one is the furthest in distance. Could be Udine, maybe. Might be for the Super Cup final. A good day, that. Nectarius says, why do I keep repeating myself? Matt Smith says, random nosy question. Are all of your Spurs tickets and travel expenses tax deductible? Sorry if inappropriate. No, it's not inappropriate. Do you mean like to just give me a rebate or something, mate? No. So my expenses are what it's earning my wages I then spend, right? So, no, there's no. The only thing, me and Dad have a train ticket, which I recommend if you regularly travel with one person, and if you ever do a long distance, please get this. You get an annual rail card. It costs, I think, £30. It's called Two Together. So we get 30% off every time we travel on a train together. You only need to do one long distance journey to pretty much make the £30 cost of that card worth it. So even if you just went to, I don't know, you went London, Edinburgh for a weekend or something, you probably, like, you'll make it back what you'd pay on that card. So I think it's £30 is for a year, and then we get, like, every time we have to travel together, that's the only condition. Get 30% off every train ticket. So yeah, pretty decent. So yeah, I've paid. He's got a ticket now for Bournemouth. Unbelievably, he's got one legitimately through the club because they had a few tickets returned. So he's now got a ticket for Bournemouth. So I booked trains last night for both of us. And it works out nearly the same than if I'd just gone by myself, which is mad, isn't it? Mad. But no, there's no tax. No, I wish. Get it back, or do I pay extra on it? No. Abdul Hamid says, another great year following the channel. Thank you for all your information. Banter helps me get through the days. Everyone smash a like. Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. And GA. Browner, I'm gonna read this slowly. Brownerama DMD. Brownerama DMD. I'm gonna try and remember that. James, what's the best Xmas present you've ever gave? Tottenham normally play Boxing Day, don't they? So, no. The thing is with me, I've had this question before. I never really got too much Christmas, not because I had bad parents or shit, but my birthday's 2 weeks earlier in mid-December, so it was always, my birthday was always kind of the bigger deal, and then it was more like more stuff, but smaller stuff for like Christmas and stuff. So if I wanted something particular one year, what I mean is he never got held back for Christmas. If you wanted like a PlayStation or something, it was like, I got it on the birthday. I never got it on Christmas, really. That's kind of how shit works for me. Best Christmas present I ever gave. Terrible, isn't it? Like a silence vacuum in my head. Don't know. Just got my son Nintendo Switch too, so I'm gonna say that. Joe Pickle says, as a City fan, I'm really unsure what to think of the Semenyo signing. Have you gut feeling whether he'll be a success or not? I think it's it does not a way of knowing. First and foremost, I love him as a player. I think he's a great player. But I don't think you can ever be sure of any player who joins City. Such a specialist. You know, I'd take someone like Jack Grealish. People largely look at him as like a failure because of the price tag and stuff like that. But Jack, the back end of that, not last season, obviously, the year before, it was great. I think it was 2 years ago. It was terrific. It was like the most informed player in the league in that kind of March, April period. He does take some adaptation. And I think you have to adapt to it. He's got to be ready. He's talisman at Bournemouth. I don't want to say he's for free will because he works really hard defensively and stuff as well. But there will be so much structure put on to his game. How he handles that is difficult to say. Has he got the talent to play for Manchester City first and foremost? The answer to that is yes. The adaptation can be difficult. And also, as you'll know, there's many players who don't really see the benefit of it till year 2. So it might take a while. But I also wouldn't be surprised as January sign if he really kind of uplifts. For City as well, obviously it's changed recently, but until that sort of back end of October or something, it was only Haaland scoring. So he adds goals to that team, and I wouldn't underestimate that. And also, I don't know what his best side is, whether it's left or right. I think he's so comfortable on either. So that's great. Next question is Brian Sutton. What's the best away day scran that you've had? Sausage roll at King Power. Comfortably. That's the one. Headley M says, you must be happy with the 35 million for Johnson. Yeah. Yeah, I to be honest, for me, it's more that the money is kind of irrelevant. Whether, you know, if it had been 25, would I be like, oh, it's too cheap? If it had been 45, would I have been like, oh, it's amazing? No, the most important thing for me here is that Tottenham stop pissing about and realise that they've got a player who, by the way, like Brennan Johnson has got traits that could do very well at a certain other club. Personally, I don't think it's Palace, by the way. I think, like, for example, at Everton, he might, when you've got these carriers like Ndiaye and Grealish and stuff like that, someone like Johnson, who's just an in behind, like I could see that sort of thing working quite nicely under David Moyes. So, like, he's a profile player that could be really useful for someone, but he's not good enough for what my club it wants to be. So be ruthless in it. Stop haggling over shit. So it's nice for me to see that Tottenham have identified that there's a player that they're going to make, not going to make money on him because it's going to be less than what they've spent, but they're not, oh, well, we paid 45. Can we hold out to get, nah, he's not your guy. Move it on and start reshaping the squad. So the money aspect of it's kind of irrelevant. I'm more, and it's not like from a hatred perspective, but it's just, I know Tottenham need to move him on. Right, be ruthless about it. Get it done. Lots of love for Brennan, right? I put this on our Slack today. There's a picture that's going to sit on the wall in my mum and dad's house that I gave him from Christmas Day. And it's him scoring the goal at Man United. It's going to sit on that wall forever. All right, so I'm very thankful to him for giving me one of the best moments ever. But also, he's not good enough. Andrew Sands said, disregarding football, which sporting event would you like to go to the most? A sporting event I'd like to go to the most. That's a really interesting question. I'm just scanning sports in my mind, and many of them are still better products on the TV. I'd tell you one, maybe like a Wimbledon final. I think would be like a really cool experience. I ain't paying the price of it. I'll tell you that. Like, I wouldn't want to go that much. But yeah, I think that would be pretty cool because you're all quite close to it and stuff, aren't you? So yeah, maybe Wimbledon final would be a decent shout. Right, we are 6:16. I will finish the rest of these questions, by the way, guys, but I'll just see what we've got in terms of team news. So let's start with Burnley. I'll go through these in order. What I'll do is I'll just pop up, because I know my predictions are so bad this week. So let's see how bad these are. So the Burnley lineup is Dubravka, Walker, Estev, Gochuku, Edwards, Florentino, Chiruna, Ekdal. There's no Estev, Perez, Breuer, Laurent. I mean, look how fucking wrong that is. Braun Larson, Anthony, Humphreys, all subs. Estev is not a sub. And neither's Fleming, actually. Oh, what am I talking? Estev is in the team. I read his name out. Please delete it if you put it in the chat. Estev is playing. Sorry. So, yeah, it's back five. It's going to be Walker, Laurent, Estev, Ekdal. Perez is playing again. I don't know what's happened to Hartman. He was back on the bench at the weekend. He's not in the squad again. Weird. Florentino now in with a Gochuku with Cullen injured. I didn't think you'd go with Edwards or Chiruna, who's the two he's gone with. I presume Chiruna was going to play off the left, Breuer as the 9. I didn't think you'd go with Edwards. I know Marcus really well. Obviously came through the academy at Tottenham. I concluded this afternoon, I thought he will not play Marcus Edwards because of Lewis Hall. And in terms of tracking him. I'm intrigued. I might tune into a bit of that just to see how he does. He still annoys me. He's got brilliant talent. The Newcastle lineup. I'll tell you one that I did get right. It's Johan Visser starting. Nick Pope is back in goal for Newcastle. Back four is Miley Chow, Cher, Hall. Bruno Guimaraes plays. Tonali plays Joel Linton, so that three is right. And then it's Barnes, Gordon, Visser. So actually, that's right, except for the goalkeeper, what you see on screen, bottom right. So Nick Pope is in goal for Newcastle. Otherwise, it's the team that I've got there. Next one we'll do is Chelsea. By the way, if you're like in the chat going, he starts, he doesn't, whatever, just get rid of it. No one's interested. Sorry. Chelsea, right. We knew this was going to be a bit weird. And it is. So, it's not a million miles off. So, it's Sanchez, Fofana, Chalobah, Gusto, and a champion, not Adarabioyo. Casado and Enzo. Esteval starts, Palmer starts, Garnacho starts, Delap starts. So the attacking three behind the forward that I got is wrong. So I had Neto, Pedro, and Gittins. It's Esteval, Palmer, Garnacho, and a champion in for Adarabioyo. I'm quite happy with that prediction, actually. I was feel the attacking ones were always going to be the most difficult to pick. Yeah, Reece James was a few was asking a concern. Neto, I'm a bit surprised, but he has played a lot of minutes recently. But like his fitness levels are really good generally. Bournemouth. We'll do next. So they're obviously on a bad run at the moment. I guess the headline here will be, is Semenyo in the team? And he is. Alex Scott passed fit. He was a doubt with a jaw injury. Kluivert starts. I think something's happened here where I think Iriola has lost complete confidence in Diakite. So he took him off at half time at the weekend. I spoke about this on the podcast. He took him off yesterday despite having like no centre back cover. He's brought James Hill into this team. So I presume James Hill will play with Senesi. Truffert left back. Jimenez will move back to right back. It's quite an offensive Bournemouth team. Tavernier looks, I would say that's a deeper role with Scott. So no Lewis Cook. Because then it's Brooks, Kluivert, Semenyo, and Evan Nilsson. Very offensive team that Bournemouth have picked. Good luck to them. What's the next game we'll do? We'll do Forest. Forest team surely is pretty straightforward, isn't it? Unless we're expecting... Well, I was going to say, less we're expecting. We're not expecting anything surprising. We know that if Sean Dyche is happy with his lot, he generally goes very similar team. And just scanning. Yep, that's the... No, it's not. Zinchenko plays. Who's he in for? I see he's in for Savona. So Williams will go to right back. Zinchenko goes to left back. I wonder if he's done that thinking about Grealish. Because I think Williams is pretty good defending 1v1. It's a possibility he didn't fancy Savannah with that. And I've now gone to search for Jack Grealish rather than the Everton team. Let's see who's past fit and who's not. Well, I can confirm there is no Michael Keane. Nathan Patterson starts. There is no Jack Grealish. There is no... Jack Grealish is a sub. There is no Alcaraz. Michael Keane is not in the squad. Neither is Alcaraz. So it's Pickford, Patterson, Tarkowski, O'Brien, Mikalenko, Garner, Irobin, Dibbling. Merlin Rowe, I did think would start, is in. Dwight McNeil and Tiano Barry is in for Beto. Beto, Grealish, left back, Asnu on the bench. Other than that, it's kids. Yeah, the Everton beat without Michael Keane tonight is not good. Obviously, O'Brien will play centre back. And the final one we'll do is West Ham, Brighton. I realise there's not too much impact there for this one. But I'm intrigued to see if Nuno maybe has gone a back five. Doesn't look like it. Wilson starts. It's the team I've got there, except Somerville as a substitute. He obviously doesn't want to play Paquetá, Bowen, Somerville and Wilson. So Somerville is the one that misses out. So I'm probably more advanced role for Matthias Fernandez. Keeping up, that's an interesting one. They go to Wolves this week. That's one maybe to watch this week. And the Brighton team is for Bruggen plays. Woo! Minter starts. Welbeck starts. The start for James Milner. Brighton beautifully have done this in number order, haven't they? So I think that's Veltman right back. Kadioglu left back. Dunk Van Heck. De Kuiper does start again. Is in ahead of Kadioglu. So one in front of the other. Looks like Milner with a Yari. And Minter on the right. Gomez behind Welbeck. Yeah, I really didn't like that Rutter shout someone was asking about. He's a substitute. So too's Gruder, Hinshelwood, Costulas. I was hoping he might have got a bit more minutes this month, Costulas, but it's not really happened. Okay. That's your team news done. I don't think there's anything too wild that we weren't maybe anticipating from the rumours on that. Right, let's do these questions. Last one I'll cover off is... I'm not doing anyone's team, mate. Iron Cupboard. I'll do that last. Right, where was we in the questions? Let's see. Andrew Sands was the non-sport question. Thank you for that. Good question, Andrew. Mr. Jocelossi, thank you, James. You're very welcome. Thank you too. Neil Kager, thanks, James. All the best for 2026. Do you watch Race Across the World? Really enjoy the travel race series. Do you know what? I know Suj as likes it. Clayton's watched it. I've seen it once and I thought it was all right. Yeah, it's not something I'm against, actually. It's something I think I could get into. I think, yeah. But no, I've not seen a lot of it. Rhino says, are you doing content now full time? Are you new around here, mate? Says, what did you do or are doing for work? Otherwise, love the content. Keep it up next year's as well, mate. Happy New Year. I used to sell paper bags for Suj. True story. And now I do this podcast full time. I was going to say rags to riches, but it's just rags to not rags. I need more patrons for the riches. Yes, I'm very blessed to do this full time. Thank you, mate. Brett Schneider says, have you played any of the American fantasy sports? Nah. Yeah, but you're never going to get me into any of them, mate. I'm telling you. Jock Goat says, hi, James. What's your opinion on Hossam Ghali from his time at Spurs? What's the general consensus on him from the fan base? He came to the club and he didn't get in straight away, and then he showed like a really good work ethic to get in, and he had a decent relationship with Berbatov. Actually, I think they helped each other in Berber's first season, and he played a lot, often off the right, and it meant Aaron Lennon went to left. And I think that was at the time was less kind of inversion in the mid 2000s, as kind of roughly when this was, slightly later. Most people went Len on the right, so it felt like he had to accommodate a little bit when he played. Tidy little footballer. Scored a couple of important goals. Loved his goal at Chelsea in the FA Cup quarter-final in 2007. But he completely cocked himself up, didn't he? Like in the last home game, Martin Joel took him off and he took his shirt off and threw it at him. Well, can't do that, mate. And then he never got a look in for a really long time. I think he went out and he had a loan and he came back. And it developed even beyond like one day Ramos, and then Harry Redknapp was in charge, and Redknapp was going to bring him on in a European game, I think, or a Carabao Cup tie. And because we were short players and that, he'd been back from loan somewhere, and literally Redknapp got him to the side of the pitch to bring him on, and the crowd booed so hard he changed his mind and never brought him on. You can't be doing that, right? It's disrespectful to the shirt. So he cocked himself up. So the fan base, that's all the fan base will remember, is that he threw his shirt. Talented player. I quite liked him, actually. He was all right. Ty says, how do you look back at both Planet FPL and Spurs this year? Spurs more successful, shall we say? We define success. Listen, the football this year has been shit. But I've had 3 absolutely brilliant away days. In fact, that's not true. I've had more than that. But 3 real highlight away days. Man City in August, Frankfurt, and obviously the final. But I've had some other good trips. Went to Alkmaar, been to Paris, Udine. I feel like I've been somewhere else in the Champions League. And I feel like I go abroad so much now, I've forgotten where else have I been in Europe this year? Who have we played away from home? Oh, Monaco. Went to Monaco. Yeah, going to Monaco, brilliant, right? Shit ground, but Monaco is a bucket list. Glad I went. So I had some brilliant trips. It's largely been shit, but 2025 will be remembered for winning the European trophy. And the club's done that before, but not something I'd seen. So for us to win the European trophy, yeah, more means more than you can know, mate. So yeah, Spurs have had a better year. Planet FPL, yeah, good year. I think we've evolved again. That introducing David onto the pod, I think he's a great addition. It was something that I was really keen to push for. Love him. I think the Weekender's a great little addition. I think every year we've done something a little bit different. Like the Weekender this year, it's been awkward because Clayton's been US a lot. We introduced Clayton and James show last year. So I'm always trying to think of new ideas and new stuff. Yeah, I think we've had a good year. Support from the patrons never ceases to amaze me. Humbled, truly, all the time. You don't have this stream without. It's not like a tagline. I mean that genuinely. There is no Planet FPL anymore without the patrons. Jock Goat says, I've done that one. DTAF, how does Patreon work? Is it a separate platform or does it just unlock videos on the tube? I think you said on the tube, and I think he's unlocking videos on the underground here. So yeah, it's a platform where I post everything on there. Whether it's I do occasional written articles, whether it's video stuff, audio stuff. It all goes on there. But like we'll do the videos. So YouTube goes on there. So just post a link there. You can hit the link, and it's just like you're watching it on YouTube, right? Or you could watch it on the app on Patreon, but the link is always there. You can just hit the link and then watch on YouTube. So there's no ads from basic tier. And those get released earlier and they get released to the public as well. YouTube and audio. Basic Plus gets you into Slack. That gives you access to my planner. Intermediate Plus gets you all the podcast. Advanced gets you all the additional video content, such as talking tactics, the team news stream, what the numbers say, away days, midweek FPL dilemma, Nico's corner. The podcasts are regularly like Tottenham, Gameweek previews, Money in Football, Patreon Q&As, quizzes, all sorts. It would ask more about Patreon, DM. But what I recommend, sign up on Patreon as a free member. This is generally my advice. Like, try before you kind of buy stuff, right? Sign up as a free member tomorrow, some point, edited by me, so it'll be quite bad. But I'll have like a reel for you of clips from the content we've done on Patreon over the last 10 days. It'll be available to free members. You can see what it looks like. And that will be just as YouTube. If you click the link, 20-minute video on YouTube, some of the stuff we do on Patreon, you can see it. Gavin says, not been out on New Year's Eve for years, got overpriced, too busy, rather go round with friends or down a local. What are your plans? My plans are New Year's Day, mate. Brentford away. We'll be staying in, mate. I would rather just spend time with my boy, mate. DTAF says, non-FPL, if you were American and soccer didn't exist, rank the 4 main US team sports. Stop giving me this drivel. Right, American football is last. That I can tell you. Let's go basketball, hockey, baseball, and American football. FPL. What? I don't, honestly, if you love NFL and American football, which is in football, they do more throwing than kicking, that's great. I've tried. I promise you I've tried. I'd rather watch Thomas Frank's Tottenham. Like, legitimately. Abdul Hamid says, when do you start looking for new correspondents for the newly promoted teams? So it depends who comes up, right? If it's someone who's already been up, then fairly obvious if guys want to come on. So for most, I don't have to look. Don't have to. Because the first place I will go now is if we've got a patron within our Slack community who gets promoted, if they're the only fan in there that supports that team, it's theirs if they want it. It's literally as simple as that. Because I know by the fact them being there, they will buy into the ethos and understand of what Planet FPL is and stuff like that, and they're already a representation of their club. So that's not always the case, but nearly all of the correspondents that have been added in the last couple of years have been patrons. Nearly all of them. I think there's one case where that wasn't the case, and even in that case, the gig was offered to people who supported that club within the network. They didn't want it. They don't have to have it. It's their choice. So no, I don't have to look much anymore. It's normally within our community. The majority of the championship clubs will have supporters of within our patron network. I'd say half the clubs in the championship, if they get promoted, I know now who the correspondent is. So if you support a championship club and you want to be a correspondent, you know where to go. Right, there you go. Sold it again. Felix says, Merry New Year, James. What's your favorite Chinese takeaway dishes? Pep Kamara meme last week reminds me of you when someone asked you an FPL question after deadline. Pep Kamara meme. I don't know what that was. I think I get the sentiment of what you're saying anyway. Sweet and sour chicken balls, innit? Egg fried rice. Get me a bit of chicken chow mein. Then we order prawn crackers, even though we get it for free anyway. Kind Blom. Hello, everyone. Thoughts on Anthony Robinson from Fulham when he fixture turns? Say, where's that pet main? Have a good evening. Cam says, how well did Richarlison do not to take his shirt off? Hopefully he's just learned. Reedy says, James, I've asked this a few times, but it's gone unanswered. Who the fuck is Manchild? Who is queuing your music? Well, the only person who queues your music actually is me. Although on most of the YouTube videos, it's Nico. Manchild is the original video editor. It wouldn't be a Planet FPL without Manchild. When we started, Manchild edited the podcast. His name is Arjun. The reason he's called Manchild, true story, is because he was working on a video with Fat Man Scoop. Yes, the real one, Fat Man Scoop, rest his soul. And Fat Man Scoop turned around, looked at him and went, who is this Manchild? And it stuck as his nickname forever. That's the true story. Or he made it up. But I think it's true. MH says, thank you so much for each and every time what you do. You're very welcome. Thank you. Probably not a good idea. Bristol City fan here. Semenya played best for us as a right-sided player. DTAF says, our Coventry bottling it. So Coventry have lost, 2 in 6 and both to Ipswich, who might be the second best team in the league. I think that's roughly it. Now, listen, they may feel the pressure, but it's a long way to go. It's not over yet. I wouldn't say bottling it. It's worth saying they're the astonishing start, right? The data was off the charts in terms of goals scored in the opening 12-14 games or so. Yargo says, good call on Gordon and Barnes today. Birth Media says Hartman was linked to Ajax. Something's happened there with him. Yeah. Strange one, that. Jack's on COTC in January. If there was, it's chance something will develop by that point. But yeah. Iron Cupboard says, have you always had a passion for sausage rolls? Look at me, of course, mate. Sandry, I'm not doing FPL, mate. Have a good evening. Thiago says, looks like a dreadful Everton side. Notorious, happy new year in advance. You too. Joseph Robinson says, had such a bad week last week. Got knocked out of the cup. Louis says, weekend is such a great pod. Thank you. We're going to do game review next Friday. I was going to do the game review on a Thursday next week, but I'm going to Bournemouth Wednesday night. I'm going to get home about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I've got to take my boy to school next morning. Honestly, I'd be blagging it. So we're going to leave it till the Friday. So the weekender, unfortunately, is not going to return till not next Friday, but the Friday after, whatever date that is, 16th, I think. But yeah, it's not in hiding. It's just the way the schedule works. Sinew says Dorgu could be a good captain for the deadline's gone, mate. Why is Voltemade being benched? I don't know, mate, but someone here predicted that would be the case. Kartik Raja says, is Vardy a Premier League legend? Absolutely. Yeah, unquestionable. Yeah, one of kind of leader and arguably best player. They have a great players in that title team, but probably the one that will carry the most legendary status because he stayed afterwards, right? So yeah, I don't think that's in question actually. Yeah. All right, leave it there, guys. As I said, join us for the quiz tomorrow. That's our be sort of lunchtime-ish probably. Myself and Tom Campbell quiz on 2025. Let us know how you score in the comments and stuff. Good fun. There's FPL questions in there and just general football questions from the year as well. It's about 50 minutes or so. Shouldn't take too much of your time. Support the show on patreon.com/planetfpl if you would like to or can support the show, or if you would like access to the additional content. My DMs are open for if anyone needs me for Patreon or life advice or just wants to say hello. Please don't send me a screenshot of your FPL team because honestly I lose the will to live. I love you all. Thanks very much. Smash a like, hit the sub button. Happy New Year. Have a good time. Don't drink an FPL. I hope you have a great game week. Ciao for now, everyone.